Starbucks has engaged in one of the fiercest and most brutal anti-union campaigns that's happened in labor history.
Stop your union busting and give the working class a break.
Unionization efforts for Starbucks is widespread all across the country. Companies try to undermine unionization efforts by hiring new workers to replace those who are currently on strike.
Okay, hear me out, right? What if somebody very technical, very handsome, set up a bot that automatically sent the request to their website? Oh wait, it was me, I did that.
The purpose of the bot was to fill out false applications.
It allows you to send in a fake job application to work at Starbucks every 20 seconds.
We made it very easy for people to get involved in spamming the site. Because of our bot, 200,000 applications flooded Starbucks sites. The more people who are involved in this process, the bigger impact that we see on these companies.
These Starbucks employees anxiously awaiting what turned out to be a unanimous vote to unionize.
Yes! Unanimous!
Yes!
There is strength in numbers. My name is Sean Wiggs. I am a coder that created a bot to spam multiple job application sites, specifically in this case Starbucks, and the Texas Abortion Right to Life site as well.
Starbucks is shutting down its cafe in Ithaca, New York.
Workers have voted to unionize.
7 employees were fired.
Fired yesterday.
Was fired.
Fired her.
Scab workers are when companies try to undermine unionization efforts by hiring new workers to replace those who are currently on strike. And so it's a way for companies to sort of demonstrate their power over the striking workers, saying, oh, if you want better workplace conditions, oh, you want better pay, well, we'll just replace you with somebody who doesn't want those things. My experience working in customer service and fast food kind of inspired me to kind of go down this pro-union path, because when I was 16 years old, I wasn't treated well at all. I was always showing up, taking shifts and doing my job. When it came time for me to take time off for myself, I was told, don't show up and you're fired. Workers all across the country, they feel like they give everything to their job, but their job never gives anything back to them.
So I'm sure the Starbucks, after a blatant attempt to union bust, is going to be looking for new workers after they fired the ones who were trying to unionize. So I thought, what if I helped them out a bit? Here's the code, but none of you ever care about the code. You want to see it work. Just click download, click it to open, and if you run this main file, you can see the magic at work. No downloading Python or installing the requirements, it's all there in that one file.
So what the code does is it goes in here, it finds this file, finds the city, gets the job, and it opens it up, and then it's going to go through and fill out the application. I don't believe it's a gray space as it pertains to a legal manner. The bot isn't sending packages directly to any server. What it's doing is it's filling out an application as if somebody else was already working there. And so this tool can be used for a lot of non-nefarious purposes as well, where you help people submit applications to numerous different sites when they're on a job search. And so that's all I intended to do with this tool. It just happens to be a great way for people to show their support for unionization efforts.
The bosses will keep getting richer and we'll keep getting poorer unless we get together.
Workers are standing up everywhere, and it's important to support them everywhere.
And I hope that when people see the unionization efforts from Starbucks Workers United, they gain the confidence and the courage to unionize their own workplaces.
Rehire them now!
Texas's new law, which bans women from having an abortion after 6 weeks.
It would also allow anyone in Texas to sue someone who helps provide an abortion.
Texans are trolling an anonymous tip line for reporting suspected abortions.
People on social media took aim at a pro-life whistleblower site that encourages people to report anyone who violates the law. And they flooded the site with a bunch of fake tips.
The website was encouraging people to, the word they use is whistleblow on women who've had abortions. So it asks for your name, your phone number, and it asks you to attach proof of a woman that you know or you've seen who's had an abortion, so that they could use that information to sue the woman, the abortion provider, the Uber driver who drove her there, anybody who was involved in the process of her getting an abortion.
Abortionists! Healthcare! Shut it down! If we don't get it, shut it down! If we don't get it, shut it down!
I've had a friend who was personally impacted by abortion in college, and she was like, I can't do this. I'm gonna have to drop out if I can't get an abortion. And that kind of stuck with me ever since then. I've always been very passionate about that issue. That sort of was the catalyst behind, I'm gonna do something about this. And if I can spend a weekend coding, which I already enjoy doing, I code in my free time anyway, then why can't I do something about this as well? At the time where I created my bot, TikTok users were already spamming the site with the B-movie script and other, gore videos or whatever. I just found a way to automate that.
So I made an iOS shortcut. So if you go to the website from your iOS device, this is the web page with the form. You click the share button, you click the shortcut, it automatically sends the form. It will then refresh the page and give you the option to do it again. It takes like 5 seconds.
You have people from all across the country, and even the world at some points, who were submitting these tips. 25,000 people went to the code and used the code directly. I can assume that hundreds of thousands of tips were sent. We got the specific Texas Right to Life site taken down.
For the second time in a week, ProLifeWhistleblower.com, a website allowing people to submit anonymous tips about those trying to get an abortion in Texas, has been shut down.
TikTok is important for the kind of work that I want to do because that is sort of the hub for where Gen Z goes. TikTok is a very helpful tool with bringing people who are, apolitical or just don't know much about politics into the fold.
I hate to be the voice of reason in this situation, but if you ever find yourself on the same side as Tucker Carlson and PragerU, you might want to rethink your position.
What I'm doing is kind of bringing union to the forefront of young people's minds. When you don't know about unionization, then there's not much you can do about unionizing your workplace. When you go after these corporations and you go after the government, it does feel like you're a small person and this huge entity is hovering over you, which is why I think it's important to know that there is strength in numbers. We are the people who elect these politicians. We pay the taxes. We pay the government. We all have the power.